Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. He faked his own kidnapping and allegedly faked his way into millions of dollars.
But 38-year-old developer Larry Price says he is not guilty to $13.5 million in wire fraud charges, money that helped him build the largest mansion Billings has ever seen.
Price now facing 6 counts of wire fraud for soliciting $13.5 million from investors in a Wyoming company, then allegedly using that money for his own personal use.
The court indictment alleges that Price transferred money from banks in West Virginia, Texas, and Wyoming to his accounts in Montana for what he said was to purchase real estate, mining equipment, and other supplies. In May, Price was charged in Virginia federal court for lying to federal investigators after he claimed he was kidnapped by a biker gang and robbed at his bike shop there.
If convicted, Price could face up to 20 years in prison and a $250,000 fine.
Wildfires are scorching at least 10 states across the West, causing evacuations and at least 2 deaths. Farmers are trying to salvage crops in the middle of harvest season.
In Oregon, one person was found dead near a burned-out tractor where a fire scorched 45,000 acres in just 24 hours.
To the south, near Yosemite, more than 1,800 firefighters are battling a 17,000-acre blaze that killed a firefighter last weekend.
Here in Montana, the Reynolds Lake fire southwest of Darby, now mapped at more than 1,000 acres.
MTN's Augusta McDonald was near the incident today and brings us the latest.
Helicopters are working and retardant drops are proving to be effective and allowing fire crews to work closer to the fire line. The fire made a sprint northeast Tuesday toward the community of Alta and some homes in that area, although they're about 10 miles away from the fire line. Fire managers say air attack efforts Wednesday helped stop much of that growth.
Oddly enough, there was an availability of crews, and so we've been very lucky to get the amount of resources that we have.
Fuel conditions aren't helping.
For as green as it is here, we would think it would still be super wet out and lots of moisture, but it's really not. The older deadened down on the ground is fairly dry. Everything is very receptive. The fir and the lodgepole up there are taking very little fire for them to torch out and throw spots.
He says there are some conditions that threaten the safety of firefighters, including numerous snags in the area that could come down in high winds. There are concerns about fire weather on the way. Outflows and storm heads predicted to move in Friday through this weekend could bring some northwesterly winds that could push the fire toward the most nearby homes. Near Reynolds Lake Fire, Augusta McDonald, MTN News.
And Augusta tells us resources continue to arrive on the scene of that fire. 2 more hotshot crews arrived today, but still at this time the fire is 0% contained.
On the weather front, Bob, things are calm here, but in Iowa today, very scary.
At least 7 people have been injured as a tornado outbreak hit there and went to several cities. Let me show you. Here's some of the cities that got hit today. Marshalltown, Bondurant, and Pella all got hit with heavy thunderstorms. Des Moines was not one of them. We just wanted to show you where all this kind of all was coming together at. But let me show you what's happening. This is the way it looked as far as the surface is concerned. We had a lot of tornadoes. We had some great video there tonight. This is from Bondurant. And take a look. This is a stringer from KCCI. And look at that thunderstorm. And that tornado is ripping across some of the wires right now. And all of a sudden, you're going to see it really start to go. You can see the smoke just get caught up in the updraft of that tornado. And then all of a sudden, look at all the debris. There's your debris cloud from that tornado. There were several tornadoes in that area today. A couple of them were like 100 yards away from each other. It was quite a night there in parts of Iowa. But back here for us, we're looking at drying conditions and warming conditions. We'll chat about it coming up in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Bob. A new report indicates Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke has kept some of his meetings off his public calendar. An analysis has found about a dozen instances where Zinke's calendar omits or obscures important details about who the cabinet secretary is meeting with and why. CNN compared email conversations between Zinke and his scheduler made public through the Freedom of Information requests to the actual calendars the Interior Department keeps. In a number of instances, names of politicians were kept in the planner, but business executives and other lobbyists who have compromising interests with either Zinke or the Interior Department were omitted from those reports.
Kind of entitlement sense that they brought into their positions. Like, I'm not going to worry about these little ethics issues. What's that? That doesn't apply to me. Hell with them. They shouldn't get the calendar. And I can meet whoever I want, and nobody needs to know about it.
Today, the Interior Department released a statement to CNN saying the department complies with all applicable laws, rules, and regulations. We always strive toward transparency, which is why we include additional information in briefings that are made available to the public. Zinke is currently facing about a dozen federal probes into his conduct.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service now asking for feedback on proposed changes to America's Endangered Species Act. The Trump administration says one of the goals of the effort is to reduce the regulatory burden on the American people. Now, here in Montana, the proposed shift in policy could impact bull trout, lynx, even grizzly bears. Among the changes, new limits to the types of habitat that can be protected under the Endangered Species Act. Threatened species would no longer receive the same protections as endangered species, plus a new standard would be used to remove an endangered status.
On the heels of a one-on-one meeting with President Trump this week, Vladimir Putin could be making plans for another sit-down, this time in Washington. Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says discussions are underway to bring the Russian president to the White House. She took to Twitter this afternoon, saying while in Helsinki, President Trump agreed to an ongoing working-level dialogue. Trump asked National Security Advisor John Bolton to invite President Putin to Washington, D.C. this fall.
Montana Secretary of State Corey Stapleton is asking the state Supreme Court to keep Green Party candidates on the November ballot. Just last week, a state judge ruled that 87 of more than 7,000 signatures used to qualify the Green Party for the ballot were in fact invalid. And without those signatures, the party falls short of its minimum signature requirement. The ruling will mean the names of 5 candidates, including both a U.S. Senate and U.S. House candidate, will be removed from the ballot. The original complaint over the validity of the signatures was filed by the Montana Democratic Party along with other activists and office holders. The Supreme Court clerk's office tells us the court likely will consider this appeal quickly because of its time-sensitive nature.
Areas along the Yellowstone River are still drying out as water levels peaked at record highs in early June.
Q2's Connor Pregisser shows us tonight how that high water took a toll on several local popular fishing access sites.
As waters recede from record levels along the Yellowstone, the river is once again a great place to recreate. But in the wake of the floodwaters, there is some major damage, especially to fishing access points. Waters flooded parking lots, damaging camping facilities, and making roads impassable. Montana's Fish, Wildlife, and Parks spokesman Bob Gibson says that the damage was especially pronounced at the Bundy Bridge access point.
The water is now, 5 feet below the bridge. During the height of the flood, that water was this high over the top of the bridge. And that just ate up the approaches to the bridge. All the places where there was dirt next to it, it took it out because the culvert couldn't handle it and it washed it right away. So between here and 10 feet over that way, there was just a big trench where the river had come through. So instead of being at this level where you could drive across it with a car, there was a trench here that was 6 or 8 feet deep that the water had just washed all of the gravel and all of the approach out.
Now crews have been working since the water began to recede in mid-June, and just in the last 2 or 3 days, drive-in access has been restored to many of the fishing access points.
Here, little space.
Well, we're standing here in the Voyager's Rest fishing access site in the midst of what used to be a camping spot. They're still doing some work to get everything back up to what it used to be, but the drive-in access is now open here, as it is in all but 2 of the fishing access points along the river here. Now, those 2 points being Inden Fort and Grant Marsh. So if you do want to do some fishing, it's now open. You can drive in, so get out here and enjoy this beautiful weather we've been having and the beautiful recreation opportunities that Montana affords us. Reporting from along the Yellowstone, this is Connor Pregisser, MTN News.
All right, thanks so much, Connor.
And Bob Gibson also tells us that the road there at the Bundy Bridge has been reinforced in an effort to reduce the risk of damage the next time the Yellowstone approaches such record flows.
Did you know the health of baby ospreys can tell us if the cleanup of mining waste is working?
Well, that's right. When they say you are what you eat, they're not entirely wrong, at least when it comes to the osprey chicks in the Clark Fork River Basin near Warm Springs. Now, for more than a decade, biologists from the University of Montana have been taking the chicks, banding them, taking blood and feather samples. It's all part of a $168 million settlement with the Atlantic Richfield Company to clean up mining pollution.
The osprey eat the fish from the river, so if the birds are clean of heavy metals, it's a good sign that the fish health is improving as well. And that's something some say is a century in the making.
Still ahead on tonight's 10 o'clock news. When this woman was severely injured, she wasn't as worried about her health as she was about paying for it. Find out more about her story coming up.
And later tonight in sports, Scott has the opening round of your men's state AM and a leaderboard filled with Billings players.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire and sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.